Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this very, very fine Wednesday. How you doing, folks? Appreciate you tuning in. About to get going here. I want to get into some things as I do every day. They're talking about Taylor still, and so am I. But don't worry, we'll get into some interesting things here. And why it's all gone awry, men and women, maybe a little bit. So many things to get into, but I do appreciate you tuning in today live in my chat. For those that are coming in to support the show, appreciate it. Drop that like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't like what you see, leave a little comment. Comment away, and let's game the system together. Appreciate it. I am live on Twitch, DLive, and Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. That's Gorgonzola on DLive and Twitch. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, Troy, Nada, Renee, Mr. Pink, Flat Earth Victory, Nada, Chabot, Chabot. Wait a second. How you doing? Zorak Hillary. I do appreciate it. They're talking about us MAGA head conspiracy theorists, crazy wackos. They're saying they've started a war, that we've started a war. They're saying, bada bing, bada boom, MAGA, make America great again. They're saying they started a war, going to war with the woman, Taylor Swift herself. Incredible. So this is just a little still from Drudge Report, but it's a little bit of the news. They're reacting to MAGA, the conservatives, people online, a bunch of conspiracy theorists saying that Taylor Swift is a government plot, a government psy-op, a perfect matrimony between NFL and pop music to rein in the vote for Biden and enhance the Democratic vote. All part of a larger plan and to bring it to have Haley be the nominee. Democratic donors putting in hella money to have Haley be the nominee, so it's Haley versus Biden, so it's an easy win. Add in Taylor Swift's influence, you got a recipe for Biden 2024. They're saying you were a bunch of conspiracy theorists. You wackos, the MAGA conspiracy. I saw Jack Posobiec post a little something here. CNN is calling it a conspiracy theory to talk about the very thing CNN was reporting in the morning. Sharing a couple stills here from CNN. Biden campaign eyes Taylor Swift endorsement hours later. As Travis Kelce heads to the Super Bowl, right-wing media personalities are floating a political conspiracy theory about this pop superstar girl, his pop superstar girlfriend, Taylor Swift. And you saw Ramaswamy and all that saying that they're going to rig the Chiefs. They're going to rig the Chiefs game so that it's a Chiefs win and it's Swift and Biden and it all works together. You know, if you ask me, I don't know how much it would help. These things don't usually help that much from what I could tell over time, paying attention to politics a little bit. I can't tell you, to be fair. What the heck do I know? But I feel like whatever help the Democrats might get from an endorsement like this will be between insignificant to somewhat significant, in my opinion. Because the thing is, she doesn't really have to tell her fans anything if you think about it. They're probably already Biden, Democrat. They're probably Trump haters at least. And, you know, if you're a hater, you got anger. You're on the side of the devil. You're on the side of evil. But I don't know if she really has to do much, you know? It's really less of a... I'm not saying that there isn't there isn't executives / politicians in a room in a circular table concocting this this perfect relationship. I'm not gonna say no, but it's more like demonstrating a side of America and people. It's more poetic. You know what I mean? But don't join. Look, MAGA, Republicans or whatever. Don't join the Democratic cinematic universe. Don't do it. Don't join. Oh, join in, and now you got to take up and start a war with Swift and the Swifties. It's for America, Biden, and you're just joining in the machine, the money machine, the attention machine. Don't join the Democratic cinematic universe. They'll have you as a villain in their little play. They're gonna have you as a villain in their little play. There's one fatal flaw in the Swift conspiracy. The 49ers are going to win. Anyways, 49ers are going to win. Did that already happen? I don't follow football. I thought that already happened. What the heck do I know? The DCU. Don't join the Democratic Cinematic Universe. Don't fall for it. I'm just reading some of the chats here. Entertainment anchors. The Swiftie influence, some people are calling it. I don't know. No, don't get me. Kevin Howe, he says, come on, complaining about Taylor Swift is weak. Wait, hold on, we're not complaining just yet. Wait, just give me a sec. We'll get to the complaining. Never, ever, ever tell a woman your problems. Right on, Mr. Pink. Yes, you are a peep in the merch. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores to get yours. Never, ever, 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 ever tell a woman your problems. Right on. But, yeah, don't play their games. Anger and all that mess. Don't do it. But look, let's get to the complaining, okay? Let's get to the complaining because there's a little thing on Twitter that happened with Matt Walsh. You know who Matt Walsh is? Got a little itch over here. Pardon. Matt Walsh. You know Matt Walsh, part of the Daily Wire cinematic universe, with their own players and stuff. You know Matt Walsh, okay? He's coming in on the defense here for Taylor Swift. I will never oppose our Aryan princess. Nice hake. You got to take this in, okay? So here's something that happened on Twitter. Matt Walsh, in defense of Taylor Swift, okay? So you see in all this, I guess, really, I haven't really even been following it, to be honest. I guess he's responding to all this internet, Republican, conservative, MAGA drama over Taylor Swift, calling her out, etc. Some are even calling her degenerate. And so Matt Walsh, in defense of Taylor Swift, he writes here, one of the hit songs of the last couple of years featured a woman with face tattoos graphically describing her bodily orifices. Gross. In fact, there have been several songs with that theme recently. Taylor Swift is not the problem in pop music, guys. Fellas. All right, boys. Yeah. Taylor Swift's not the problem here. Calm down. It's these other people. I don't know. They have face tattoos. I don't know what they do. I don't want to describe them further. I'm adding to it. This is not, Matt Walsh said none of these things. This is just humor. I don't know what they do, what they call. It's not pop music. I'll tell you that much, but I won't describe them any further, says Matt Walsh. He continues here. Pop music is overrun by artists who explicitly glorify drugs, violence, criminality, and degeneracy. Taylor Swift sings about breaking up with her boyfriend or whatever. Why is she the one we're upset at? I don't get it. I don't get it, Matt Walsh says. She's not the problem in pop music, fellas. Calm down. Who are these artists? He puts in quotation marks. Who are these artists? They're glorifying drugs and violence, criminality. Who are they, Matt Walsh? Bryson Gray. You know who Bryson Gray is? Is he still rolling with Trump? I know that he is a Christian. And he's on Twitter. He was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I believe, Fallen State, responding to this MAGA Swift drama here, Matt Walsh. Okay. We're going to get into it, folks. I know it's silly, but we're talking about men here. Men are talking about stuff here. They're talking about women. They're talking about a couple of things going on here. So Bryson Gray responding to Matt Walsh here. Matt, the degenerate woman you're speaking of is sexyyred. I've spoken about sexyyred a little bit before. It's kind of amazing that she is so popular. You're speaking of is sexyyred, says Bryson Gray, who has 20 million monthly listeners. Taylor Swift has 100 million monthly listeners. This is just on one platform. It is mathematically inconceivable to believe Taylor Swift isn't more toxic than sexyyred. Sexyred's music is more degenerate, but she doesn't have near the same influence. And I've shown you Sexyyred before. And I almost don't want to go into Google Images here. I almost she presents herself in quite a way, and the sun is up. You know how the sun is up right now, and I almost fear going on Google Images here, but we'll tread lightly here. Oh God, Sexyyred. Yeah, popular, very popular. Sure. Matt Walsh, Bryson Gray. This is the degenerate woman that he's possibly speaking of. The ones that are promoting drugs, violence, criminality. The ones possibly with face tattoos, possibly graphically describing her bodily orifices, like what's Matt Walsh said, right? You know, it's really is amazing. Wouldn't you guys say she's quite popular amongst certain people, amongst people who listen to rap, hip-hop, okay? And not everybody. But the problem here I'm seeing here, look, I'm seeing the problem in communication, I think, that's going on here. If I could shed a little light here for Bryson Gray and Matt Walsh. Let me be a cultural bridge here, a language bridge here, help you guys out here. What I'm seeing here is that we got to talk about the blacks here. When you see who becomes famous, who gets idolized, what population this idol represents, subset, whatever, you see some stark differences. Some pretty major differences. Kind of amazing. I was telling you about this Sexyyred. Like someone who could be so popular to people in America, specific people too, these angry ghetto blacks. They subset this hateful, uncontrollable subset in America. She is talking about, she raps about, it sings about getting drunk. F my baby daddy. F my baby daddy. Getting drunk, going to the club. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It's definitely not Aryan, your Aryan princess. I don't know. She's not I don't know. She's your Aryan princess. She's fine, I think. I normally wouldn't have a problem with Taylor Swift. Trust me. And I'll get to that. But okay, it's Sexyyred. You you see the stark differences, right? Obviously. Matt Walsh, just, I guess that's who you're referring here, this music that's not pop, I guess rap music. But it kind of brings into light the other side here a little bit, because if there's a pop subset of black women who are into sexyyred, then you got white America and white girls who are into these. I'm sure there's other fans, right? But there's a lot of white women who like Taylor Swift. They're into these cute, inconsequential songs about breaking up, right? Inconsequential. There's cute little breakup songs, okay? Now, I think I'd rather some Swifties as neighbors, maybe, than sexyyred fans as neighbors. I don't know what to tell you, but it's just, I know I mentioned the stark differences, but almost when you scratch at the surface a little bit, almost like it's a poetic representation almost of actual blacks and whites in America a little bit. How outwardly angry and destructive blacks are. But when you scratch a little under the surface, you see that blacks and whites are suffering from the same thing. They got anger. Blacks outwardly angry, whites fearful. I mean, you can almost even say that for the Swifties. The white fearful. They're liberals. They don't want to get their hearts broken. So Matt Walsh, with a riposte, with a counter, with a response to Bryson, further response here. The conversation continues. Matt Walsh says, the messaging in Swift's music isn't even close to as objectionable or toxic as what you hear from sexyyred. She's mostly singing about breakups and that sort of thing. Why are we acting like she's Marilyn Manson in the 90s? The music is vapid and annoying, but that's it. Vapid and annoying, but that's it. Inconsequential, it's nothing. That's it. It. Just kept echoing. I read that, it was like, vapid and, but that's it. And I'm like, dang, I'm like scrunching my face. And I'm like, what is this? What? Something's not right. Something's not right in the force. I don't know about that one, Matt. Look. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't necessarily care. Besides the point that she's on the side that's promoting trans and feminism and everything evil, like, let's put that aside for a second. I don't really mind one bit that girls are vapid and annoying with their cute little Swiftie tunes. Right? Whatever. But the messaging isn't totally inconsequential here. It's not just like, her songs are probably the source of an individual girl in this world, woman in this country. And that's probably some of that is there. But this is like corporations, writers. She's this mouthpiece for something a little bit more than just cute little Swift tunes. And the messaging of these breakup songs and all that, it's not all that harmless, okay? Totally not evil or whatever. It's kind of a total setup for women and girls when you think about it. It's a fantasy. It's this fantasy relationship. It's just full of this drama. And women always come out of this world like these victims. They're these victims and these relationships. It's really just as bad as sexyyred. It's a different look. It's perpetuating this hate emotions. Women crying over breakups is not normal. The cough button is getting used. But women crying over breakups like that's not normal. That's not these are like, the world should call them mentally ill. These are immature, mentally ill. These are crazy people. Listening to songs and listening to songs and going like, that's me, that's about me, that song's about me, and look at me, I'm crying, and that's crazy. That is insanity, I think. And a total fantasy. Fantasy world. It's really pernicious. What gets promoted. And it's always slowly. And it's just like, it's just breakup songs, for example, is the Trojan horse. So I wouldn't normally even care if it wasn't all so upside down. So maybe I'm a little salty because we kind of let it go like this, huh? Well, not, men before us or whatever. Maybe I'm a little salty or something. Swifty's music, where was it? The Swifty music catalog is owned by a Soros-owned group. Interesting comment there in my chat. Yes, there's a mouthpiece thing going on here. You guys are following me so far, right? So I get it. Taylor Swift. And I see your calls coming in 888-775-3773. Why are we talking about this still? Because there's kind of a little fantasy. How do I explain what I want to say here about love and dating and the fantasy that it is, I guess. And I know a lot of people, they're wondering. There are a lot of people confused. They want to know, how do I get a girl? How do I be a boy? I don't know, be in a relationship. What do I do when she says this? What do I do when X, Y? And there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, okay? It's a topic full of really interesting things, okay? Very insightful things to talk about here. What gets me about the topic about dating, how do I put this in relation to what we've been talking about here? It's what gets me about even talking about the whole darn thing is that marriage and dating is dead. We're talking about a fantasy, something that doesn't exist. It's a hellscape. It's ego, it's jealousy, it's judgment, it's games. So what the MGTOW guys get right is that marriage and relationships as they are today, as they stand today, are not that at all. They are not a marriage. They're not that at all. They're just a pure ego game. We honestly don't even know what that word means. What it really means, marriage. It has more of a purpose. Anyways, and I know we're not supposed to run from the women like MGTOW. I get it. Like, we're not supposed to run from it, but I don't think the response is to keep playing this game and licking boots, and that the world is playing. You don't have to learn game, or you don't got to learn how to say things. You could just be yourself. You could be a man. You could be yourself. I wouldn't advise people on game and all that because it's fake. And you could learn that all naturally anyways. You can't really teach that. You can't teach it. Can't teach Riz game. I don't know what you call it. Whatever. But what gets me about it is all this figuring it out. It feels like we're still trying to... it feels like more woman worship, trying to figure out what she likes. I'm seeing the podcast, these red pill people. And you might think, okay, well, Nick, how are we going to replace the population? You got to do it. In fact, I saw that guy who was on Jake Julius, I believe. He was on the Joel Friday TV. What a nice episode. Joel Friday TV. And this Jake Julius guy said, they were talking about dating apps, and he basically said, yeah, it's maybe strange or whatever, but you got to do it. He said, you got to do it. You got to do it somehow. We got to figure it out. We got to date. We got to make the babies. We got to replace the population. You got to do it. But how are we going to replace the population? How are we going to rebuild families? Look, I don't know, but it's not by playing the same old relationship game. I don't really have much advice there, but I think I'd say is, look, if I tell a man, men need to be steadfast and say no to anything that's not the order of God. I know that's general and you can go deeper on that, but look, just saying no, even if it means being alone, even if most guys listening to my show, for example, are like a total island. They're into what I'm into. So most of their friends think they're maybe they have conservative friends or whatever. But most guys dating, especially in the dating, they're like a total island. You're going to find these women that we're talking about, I guess. You don't have and the mess exists with Christians too, so you'll find the same crap. So I wouldn't even tell them, you gotta, this is how you keep a girl. No, you just gotta say no to anything that's not correct in the order until and go through the pain until it becomes right. Because the game, marriage and dating, it's not right. It's not that. It's a total lie. We have the courts. Everything is against the marriage and all that. Okay, so I'm just saying, I think it would be better to men to just be steadfast and manly and all love at all times, whether you have a girlfriend, a family, or anything. And the rest will be added, right? We heard that one before. The rest will be added unto you. You know what I'm saying here? Come on. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, what are you saying? What are y'all saying? Best way to rebuild the families equals more VR chat. That's all not real. I'm so sick of real space, though, Carver. I'm so sick of real space. Real space so boring. Find my wife in VR with that. Anyways. Where was I? I'm trying to read the chat here a little bit. What are y'all saying? You can call in. I appreciate it. I see you on hold already. I will get to you. Complex.com. When asked what does success mean to you, sexyyred said, I ain't gonna lie. I'm in it for the moolah. Because I need money. I gotta live. So I want all the money. Whatever I can do to get some money. Thank you, Sean. Jesse's producer. What do y'all feel about what I'm saying here? And the Swift regime kind of is perpetuating this hate. It's also hateful. It's also emotional, hateful, and insane. Okay, anyways. I do want to show you one last thing, then I'll get to calls here. Speaking about all this a little bit. Would you go 50-50 on a date? I mean, this question keeps coming up, going 50-50. And people are getting wise to the language. What I mean by that is, how do I put this? Like, this question will come up, 50-50. Do you go 50-50 on a first date, etc.? And manhood comes up now. I don't know if it was always like this. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to remember here in my lifetime. Questions about dating and women. I don't know if it would go to masculinity and what that means. That's more of a topic lately. I think if I remember, 50-50 was just like, that's just proper. Women are equal now. Now you hear this question come up, and it's a matter of manhood. Don't you know a man has to? Don't you know that's what men do? And yeah, sure. And then it's a conversation about women too. Like they have their roles, and men have roles, but it's your role. It's your role to pay. Have you noticed that? This conversation, the 50-50. I feel like the feminism made it normalized, just saying, well, it's equal, so that's normal, and you do what you want to do, but you might even offend someone trying to pay for a woman. Now the conversation is, but okay, but what does manhood say you should do? What does masculinity say you should do? So I feel like it's been an interesting change in the way this topic gets, and the topic is men and women, roles. Because the question about 50-50, going 50-50 on a first date is really less about actually going 50-50 on a first date, but it's a question about roles, right? Roles of men and women, what that all means, how you should behave with each other, how you should approach dating. And so I don't know if you guys see it, but I feel like it's been a market change. The masculine, right? That wouldn't even be a topic not too long ago. Masculinity, that we're all the same. That's just a difference in mere biology and body parts. And so, but now that comes up and it's, well, what does masculinity say you should do? I know I'm repeating myself, but hold on. Let me get this clip going and then maybe we could comment on this. Because it's another one of these possibly skits about going 50-50 on a date. First dates. Let's see if we can play this. Oh, hold on.
I want to go 50-50 with you on a first date. Here's what I want you to say. Oh, I can't even believe I didn't offer. I just assumed it would be emasculating for you. But no, if you're fine with it, no, I'm happy to pay half.
I know, it's a silly video, okay. I almost didn't even want to play it. But I'm trying to make a point here that this language is being learned, okay? I'm really just trying to tell you guys that your framing in your life as a man really has nothing to do with how women respond and react and act. Oh, she's saying she wants to be a stay-at-home mom. That means I'm being really manly. I'm being really manly right now. She's following. That shouldn't even be in your thinking. Shouldn't be in your mentality. That the only time that should be in your mentality is if you're, I guess, considering a wife. It's like, will she actually be that? But your frame, the measure is in how little you respond and react to women. The measure is in that, in how little they affect your thinking and affect your way of being, your behavior. You're just, because that's how a man is with all people. You wouldn't let anyone else affect you and change you. You would still be whatever, kind or tough or whatever you're supposed to be, but nobody else would affect you being that, I guess. You following me here a little bit? But anyways, it has nothing to do with them. They're learning the language. They'll know. And I'm not saying that they're always going to be lying. That a woman who's just saying that is just saying that. It just shouldn't be really too much of your concern. You take her for her word. You pay attention and see if it all fits. And I guess that's really the best we could do sometimes, huh? And you won't go around looking for it because you'll just be looking for trouble. Let things happen naturally. But yeah, they know the language. You see now it's 50-50, but you're supposed to. That you're a man. You're supposed to. Isn't that it's a masculinity? And now we're talking about masculinity. Well, let's talk about the other side here. And I don't think men should be paying 50-50 at all. I mean, they shouldn't be paying they shouldn't be paying for the first date is what I mean. They should be going 50-50. It's not the gentleman's, oh, I hold doors open for you, milady. It's not that. That's just an invitation to take advantage of me, woman. That's just an invitation nowadays. She better show that she can have her bills, should have her bills paid, because she'll be a good mama, right? I'm old. This stuff is all new. What do you mean, nada? That's an interesting comment. Isn't this the oldest stuff ever, though? Men and women. That hasn't changed. I'm old. This stuff is all new. What's new, nada? Is it the way people speak or... And I see your calls. Be patient. I will get to you. 888-775-3773. I'm just about to. Any second. Oh, dang. We got a Carver super chat here. Coming in strong with the super chat says, let her pay half so you have more money for super chats. I appreciate that, Carver. Using your date money. Nice. Right on. And you can super chat. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. You can super chat on YouTube. You can Rumble rant over there on Rumble. Anyways, so I think that's all that's all the juice we can squeeze out of this one, I think. No, everything is fake. This is not a freestyle show. You're wrong about that. Pay attention, folks. Nick is in the middle of an ocean without a paddle. That's not true. I thought about all this. What do you say, man? Marriage is dead. Why are we trying to make that work? Until we bring back the institution, then we can worry about all that. Stop trying to make it work. It's broken. I'll just riz her. You can't riz a fallen woman into a housewife. I got Manuel out of Canada. Manuel, Canada.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Welcome. Appreciate you calling my show. Is it your first time?
Yeah, it is.
Dope.
I didn't even know that Joel had a show, but he was calling me Manuel. Yeah, I don't know what. Can't say he or something. He got.
Well, say your name again for me.
Emmanuel.
What's up, man? You've never called my show before, but I definitely remember you before.
I haven't. Yeah.
How you been, man?
Hake has a special obsession with asking me if I'm fit or fat.
I remember. I don't know how Hake has this special ability where just through voice alone he sees things that we can't see. He knows if you're a pot smoker. He knows if you're fat or fit. He knows many things just from the timbre of your voice, tone and timbre of your voice.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's true. It's a true thing.
Okay, so you're talking about sexyyred, and then it just like made me think about how I came up on hip hop music. Right? Sexyyred is not hip hop to me. Like,
can you come a little bit? Can you just come to your phone a little bit closer? You sound a little muffled.
Can you hear me?
There, that's a lot clearer. What were you just saying?
Sexyyred, you were talking about.
Oh yeah. And my baby daddy.
Yeah. I heard you say that. And I was like, Darren, you do that better than she does it. What the?
Some say I'm black.
So,
I guess I'm a black woman. I guess I'm good at that.
Oh, man. But, yeah, it just made me think about hip-hop music and how, oh, man, you're going to have to forgive me. I got a train coming by my house here. I live in the ghetto. But, no, so sexyyred, I wouldn't even call that hip-hop or even music, to be honest with you. That's just, like, obnoxious ranting over sounds. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
you wouldn't call it hip-hop? These, like, low 808s, these low chakra vibrating 808s that get you all violent and sexual, I mean.
So that actually leads exactly into what I want to talk about because, I don't know, some people would call it conspiracy, but I straight up know that they use certain types of frequencies in the beats and like to lure people in, right? Like it's like it puts people in like a hypnosis, like trance, you know? Like that's why like it's catchy. Like, all people say it's catchy, like you get earworms. It's like that stuff is done intentionally, you know what I mean? Some people don't do it intentionally and they're just making music, but the big record execs and like the people that are making all the money and they're pushing like materialism and superficial stuff like that, they're doing this stuff on purpose, man. I swear, like they want the youth. They're targeting the youth because they're more vulnerable, of course. And like you were saying, there's something behind the scenes going on, right? So like I think that the record execs are tied up with like some satanic people in the background, and their whole agenda is to push this type of sorcery, satanic sorcery on the youth, man, to get them to think a certain way that like, you know, the sex and the drugs is all cool and everything. And
I'm always surprised who I can make enjoy a low 808. These even your most avid rap disliker, deep low 808, they start bobbing their head. You might be not wrong about this spiritual connection, but I don't know about all that. You said I was saying something about it, there being something behind it all. What was I saying?
I think you were saying something about how there's like, she's kind of being like used like a puppet or something to like get a message.
I wasn't saying. Sexyyred. You mean like? Well, I know that, I know that's what some people are saying. There's Swift that Biden is seeking Taylor Swift's endorsement, and it's a government psy-op. And I don't think that's really that. To be fair, I don't think that's off the deep end or far fetched that businesses and companies work with governments, and that's a known thing. Lobbying, you're advertising like that. That's not even that far fetched. But I wasn't really saying that. I mean, if anything, I was telling MAGA, don't go start a war with Swift. You'll just be a villain in their little play. But anyways, on that though, I think when we're seeing these things like sexyyred, Taylor Swift, it's one thing to say it's a psy-op, but I think it's just clearly, without even going there, you don't even have to go there. It's quite clear that the air it's very representative, really. It's just very representative of the spirit behind things. Swift and her fans. I don't think Swift, for example, I don't think Swift would need to engage her fans in any way to really. I don't think she'd have to really endorse Biden in an overt way to really engage her fans. Her fans are really already there. They're you know what I mean? They hate Trump. They're Trump haters. What more do you need? You already got your constituency. You see, it's kind of already there spiritually without the need to go into dark rooms, which may be happening, may or may not be happening.
Well, no, I still think that it's spiritual at the root of it all, but I just think that, the people, in the big business and the record execs, like they're like working, they might not even be aware of it, some of them, but I think some of them are like kind of like low-key evil, and they're like, I don't know, they're driven by greed, and like I guess maybe the psy-op thing is a bit far out, but I was raised on like conscious hip-hop, like that would talk about these types of things, so like I guess my mind's been kind of programmed to see it a certain way. But
you're saying there's been quite a change in hip-hop in the content of what they're talking about.
Yeah, man, because it used to be like boom bap, like type beats, like
it's not crazy. Look, where I put this whole thing, it's not and I think you can speak about the spiritual things and all the things you're saying in a quite a sober-minded way. In that, I mean, it's not far-fetched that you're saying that there are, for example, greedy people who don't necessarily believe this is all good and moral and kind, but it's a business, it's an industry. And so that's not even crazy or off the deep end to say. It's just that it's all a picture that works in tandem here. It's sexyyred is really representative of a population of individuals, many in a way. So she's really, for example, like what I mean here is like her come up wasn't just facilitated by greedy people, etc., in the dark shadows, like you're saying, which is not far-fetched to say. But mainly, I think a greater force that's the wind in her sails. There's maybe a little bit of guidance by evil force. I don't know what to tell you about that, but the wind in her sails are her very fans, the very black people in America who are angry and think it's cute when she's like, "Have my baby daddy."
Yeah. Yeah. No, fair enough. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying, and I can't like fully relate because I'm not, part of that subculture, but
totally.
It's like, I just think that there are record exec, maybe sexyyred isn't one of them, but I've seen other artists, so-called artists, that were like brought onto record labels that were run by like these suspicious characters. I won't go into the details because I could go on about it, and I haven't looked into it for a while, but they basically see these people as like pawns that they can use to make money and push like, I guess at the root of it, it's just to make money, really.
Now, what would you say is the purpose, let's say, of a record label or anyone in this music industry? It's one thing, because it's one thing to push degeneracy because it's making you money. But would you say there's a motivation beyond that? Would you say there's a motivation beyond money? Would you say there's a motivation in the social fabric, like in mentalities of people, etc.? What can you say about that?
Some of these people, I don't think, have the skills that some of the record labels or execs have when it comes to business. So it's like, we can help you grow as an artist and get you more popular and make you more money if you sign on to us. You know what I mean? But
would you say their motivation, it can go? Because you're saying it sounded like you were saying that these themes of degeneracy, etc., are being pushed by labels for a reason beyond money, beyond just wanting to.
Right.
Is that what you're,
I think it's.
Can you speak on that? Why do you think that?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's a spiritual thing, man. It comes back to the spirit of good and evil, and it's like, the evil spirit's working through these people or something like that. So.
Yeah, and I think most people in this world, I think that's just what the spirit of evil wants for all people. And most people in the world just don't even know that. They don't know that they're a pawn. Christians, people who say they believe in Jesus and love, even they don't realize that they are pawns. They too are pawns in this agenda of this spirit that you're talking about. Demoralization of all people. The executives and rappers themselves sometimes I think don't even know the game they're playing in. But yeah. Anyways, man.
Yeah, that's just it.
Fascinating. Hey, man, anything else you want to say, sir? While we're talking about this.
Kudos to you guys, and I'm just actually healing up from shoulder surgery right now, so I'm going to be staying a little bit fat for a while until I get out there and start running some more.
You still got legs, don't you?
No, that's true. I'm just messing.
Right on it, man. We'll take care, rest up, and do your thing. Call me
Fat
again.
with a PH. Okay, peace.
Take care. Fat Beats. What's up, Canelo? How you doing? Sup, neat? I love that. N-I-T-T. Neat. That's my black name. That's my black name. That's my baby daddy. People don't like that. I see your calls coming in, 888-775-3773. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about some mess. Sexyyred. But let me just do a little housekeeping here. Check up on all the people. What's up, D-Live? Thank you, Groovy Monkey, for the lemons. Henry Ford and everybody. For the lemons and ice creams. Appreciate that. Follows over there on Twitch. You guys rock. Don't say orifices, kids. Don't say it. Darn. You gotta love a cough button when you need it. S-word red versus Taylor Swift's S-word red. I should be careful with the words here. The sun is up. S-wordy red. Even the boom bap was mind control. Even Sugar Hill Gang was pushing a communist agenda. It's an interesting comment, Will Cole. Yeah, we're a bunch of these We're a bunch of these like mind rap, like I'm lyrical. I'm not like I'm a well-worded black and I'm lyrical, intellectual, most deaf. I will lead my people, my race of people outside of this institution. You know what I mean? I will be the intellectual leader, and I will lead us out with the words and with the spoken word of my peoples. Like, so I don't know if it was all the boom bap, and I don't know if that was all. That had its stuff too, right? Focus on the good. Interesting. 888-775-3773. God made things that are good. He doesn't want you focused on the evil. Even calling out degeneracy is dialoguing with the evil. Don't do it, folks. You will lose every single time. Focus on the good. It's our baby Yoda. Anyways, we got some more show for you here. Look, Jamal Bowman's a truther. Did you hear about this? Talking about 9/11. Emotions. This Taylor Swift emotional world. Now they got MAGA. MAGA is now killing their fathers. Hear about this crazy story out of Pennsylvania? We'll see what we could do first here. But I got Mark out of Los Angeles. Thank you, Mark. You're on the air.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, sir. Wanted to talk. I'll briefly mention Taylor Swift since that's the conversation.
Yeah,
basically, she's to me, she's an example of white trash. I mean, she's the bottom of the barrel. Any white woman who's a liberal and is going to vote for Biden is lower than dirt. So that's my view on Taylor Swift. She's garbage. And as far as
what about the people saying it's just harmless breakup? Like if it wasn't for Biden, if it wasn't for voting for Biden, would you say she's white trash?
Yep.
Still expand, please, sir.
Well, now if she was for Trump, I wouldn't care if she was white trash. Because Trump's the only hope we have.
So I'm just trying to work this out. So she would remain white trash if she wasn't for Biden, but she'd still be good in our books.
If she was for Trump, I wouldn't care what she was.
Gotcha.
Okay? Because Trump's our last hope. And so far as her support of Biden, I mean, pure evil. I mean, I just started knowing who this broad was. But so far, everything I've heard about her disgusts me. And one other thing on.
But let's say she wasn't a Biden supporter. Let's say she stayed out. Let's say she kept her pretty little head out of politics and didn't mess around in the man's world and just made some songs for the Swifties. Would she still be white trash, or would she be some call her an Aryan princess?
That's ridiculous. You mean Aryan, like under Hitler? Aryan? That type of Aryan?
I don't know. Aryan. I thought Aryan meant white.
Well, I don't know. I guess it does. But the thing is, that's not who she is. I mean, she's the total opposite. Brainwashed, liberal, scumbag. I mean, what more can I say? Okay, as far as the dating thing goes, I would go out with a girl if she paid 100%.
Oh, sorry.
Why shouldn't I?
You would go on a date if she paid for it all the whole date?
If she offered to, I wouldn't ask her to. But if she offered it, absolutely, and it's happened. I've had that happen. And I don't mind it at all. I'm not being cheap. I would pay 100%. But if but
you're from, I feel like you were from a time where that was a little bit more, that wasn't ridiculous. Now women are out of control. They're on an ego trip.
That was 1989.
You don't go around paying for the date like a man used to with women today because they're on an ego trip, in my opinion.
Well, they're users.
Yeah, so that's just not, you do that with your wife. But you know what? You're saying you'd go on a date with a woman that would pay 100%. And you know what? Mark? I don't disagree. It's high time we get a little, like let's say this is ridiculous. This may be ridiculous, but the woman understands all this mess, and out of a show of good faith and sportsmanship or whatever, she'll pay for the date, considering how messed up dating is. As a good sign to the man in 2024. Hey, I'm not gonna be that crazy. Let's see get to know me. I'm not that crazy.
Well, all I could say is if the only way that I would allow her to pay 100% is if she offered.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't say to her, "Hey, pay 100%." No, I wouldn't do that. But you said in times past or however you put it, when this happened with me, with the girl paying for all my, for the dates we went on and our meals and everything. That was 1989. Is that too far back?
Well, okay, you're saying she paid for a bunch of meals? What are you saying here?
Yeah, we went
She's paying for
weekend.
everything?
Yeah. She would offer to take me to eat, and I would say yeah. Friday
Did you
night.
have a job?
Yep.
Were you a youngin'?
Yeah. What was that, 30-some-odd years ago, 35 years ago? Yeah, I was 35 years younger than I am today.
So you were in your youth dating, and she was, what, were you guys going to, what was she paid for what? Just that meal? Like, what was she paid for here?
I mean,
you said two restaurants or a whole bunch?
No. One restaurant a date, but we went to several different restaurants on several different dates, and she offered to pay. And I wasn't going to argue about it. And I let it happen, and I didn't feel bad about it.
It feels like they were just harmless. Like you're going to like a diner or a restaurant, but the thing is, it's like it wasn't even so much a commentary on. I was commenting more on I was making a commentary more on how men, this whole, on dating today, this topic gets brought up. It seems like commonly some people in this, when it comes to this topic, they want to bring back this like masculine kind of traditional thing, right? And women are getting wise to the language, and they're telling men, yeah, you got to be traditional. You got to be like a man used to be. But they don't want to be like how women used to be. And so what gets me with the whole topic is when this paying 50-50 topic comes up, men are real quick. They'll be quick to say, no, men pay first. Men pay first. But today, women are on an ego trip. So I just wanted to make that point that I don't know if that's that mentality is dead because dating's dead, marriage is dead. It's the whole framework is messed up.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
There is no marriage. Marriage doesn't exist. What men are saying yes to today is some weird ego hellscape that's not real. And until that gets brought back, I don't know what to tell men. I wouldn't go around telling them, hey, go find you a woman. I mean, I would just tell them, just say no to anything that's not a true marriage, the order of God. Be steadfast.
I heard you mention earlier MGTOW.
MGTOW, men going their own way.
That stands for men who know, I don't know.
Men going their own way.
Okay. Well, where's that going to lead to?
No.
A life of loneliness.
Absolutely.
And then when you're old, you'll be dead. I mean, you'll be depressed and whatnot.
Well, why? Because you don't have a woman?
Well, because you don't have kids, you don't have a family, you don't have anything except yourself.
See, that's kind of what I'm trying to. Now, why is the assumption that you'll just be that a man? I'm talking about a man here. Why is the assumption that a man without kids or anything will just be depressed? Will just be this loser?
Well, I guess when you get into your 70s and you're alone and you don't have children, I guess it bothers you because you know you're not going to be.
Yeah, that's understandable. Look, I'm not going to be ignorant about that at all. Like that's totally understandable and real. I'm just saying here is where MGTOW leads is what the end of your race, for example. So I get the ridiculousness about it, and not dealing with women is not the answer. I was just saying earlier that what the MGTOW guys get right, that some current red pill dating people on the there's a lot of these very popular channels that give advice on dating. They call themselves red pill. And what they get wrong is that what MGTOW gets right is that marriage and dating as an institution, as a concept, is dead. It's not real. Women aren't even in the same stratosphere when it comes to that. And so that's what I was saying about that.
Yeah.
And you could play around that all you like and say, well, women like this and men like this and they don't like this, they don't like that, but not fixing marriage is getting us nowhere.
No, it'll end to the end of civilization.
Right.
And as what we heard on Hake this morning, and I've heard it before, we're being flooded with criminals from all over the world. Some of them are bringing their kids, and they're going to repopulate, and they will replace us like we were warned back in 2017 in Virginia, Charlottesville, when our brothers shouted, "You will not replace us." What's happening today is exactly what they were talking about. So, and with the marriage thing crumbling, our race isn't reproducing, the third world trash of the world are reproducing like roaches. There's no future. I mean, there's just no future. They're not going to be productive people. They're going to be on social welfare. They're going to be criminals. Some of them will, like Trump said, some of them will be okay. There's going to be a few of my guests that are going to be, but we're being overwhelmed by the third world, and that's the biggest problem we face.
Personally, I believe there in what you're saying. There's a lot of truth in what you're saying there, but I want to leave a little bit of space there because I personally, sincerely believe there is in the works a sort of, shall we call it a renaissance, a sort of change. And I'm not saying that women are going to suddenly really be Christian and really not be liberals and not hate white people. I'm not saying that necessarily, but there seems to be in the sands, in the winds, some sort of changes in the conversation and what women think men want. And I think that it will be enough for a sort of renaissance of baby making again and all that. I'm not saying, like, again, I know what you're saying, because this Renaissance will be multi-ethnic and all this crap unless we could stop all this this anti-white language that's going around. But that's a different topic. When it comes to men and women, I sincerely think there's a little bit of a change going on in that they'll be having babies a little bit more soon, I think.
No,
I'm not saying it'll be perfect. It won't be perfect. They'll be liberals and it'll be crap, but it comes to babies, I think they want to do that again sometime soon.
Well, I've been out of the dating circuit for quite a while now, but I could understand why things are a lot tougher than they used to be, the way people are and the indoctrination in the schools, hate men, men are bad, white men particularly.
Yeah.
There is something else I want to touch on, if you don't mind, and then I'll
Sure, last thing here, and then we'll move the wheels. So go ahead, Bark.
Yeah, what it was yesterday, I had a conversation with Hake about Tara Reid, the rape victim of Biden.
Yeah. You know what?
Okay.
I actually caught this conversation, and it was quite interesting. I thought I'll let you describe it just a little bit. I normally probably wouldn't get into a conversation like this, but I did hear it, in fact. So Tara Reid
claims she was raped by Biden, and I can't believe Hake doesn't think they should go to court.
Well, you should.
It's got the only explanation for that reasoning, and I heard a couple of people call into his show this morning talking about me. I wasn't able to get onto the phone though, and they agreed with Hake. So basically, they're defending Biden.
But
by not allowing the case to go to court, like with this nut job, E. Jean Carroll, without allowing this woman to take Biden to court. That's just totally unfair. I mean,
but doesn't the E. Jean Carroll? You're not saying what?
I'm not saying Tara Reid is telling the truth. I'm not saying she's lying. I don't have it. How could I have any evidence? I heard some crackpot call Hake today. He knows who he is. He's always in the comment section. I'm not going to lower myself to tell you who he is. But he was coming down on me on the show today, telling me that I don't know. He was telling Hake rather that I was wrong and everything. All I could say is let her have her day in court. And the fact that they would defend Biden against a court case by this woman tells me one of two things. Either they're secretly pro-Biden or openly pro-Biden, or they have a problem with women. And if you've got a problem with women, then you're never going to be objective, you're never going to be fair, and you're just going to allow rape to go on unheeded. And that's the vibe I got from Hake in the conversation yesterday. He did not feel that Tara Reid had a right to take this creep Biden, who's who's a kid sniffer, and he even played off on that. I said, "Come on, man! Your own eyes, you could see Biden sniffing women and that." And he defended Biden. I'm telling you, listen to the tape. He didn't think that was a perverted thing to be sniffing little girls' hair and act. I completely believe Tara Reid. Now I know
you completely believe. You said you completely believe Tara Reid. What do you believe?
Absolutely. I believe in his younger day Biden raped her. That's my opinion. I don't have evidence, but a court case would bring that out. I think what they're doing is they're letting the statute of limitations catch up here.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So Jean Carroll, you saw her. She had her day in court, right?
Right.
When you saw her have her day in court, did you think, well, this day in court she's having is totally it's just, and this is great for justice, and this is
no, not at all, because she had no evidence. Because she had Zippo for evidence. She had a biased jury,
right,
and a Marxist judge. I mean, there was
when you said you believe Tara Reid. When you said you believe Tara Reid,
I do believe her. However, let me put an asterisk to that.
Okay,
it hasn't been adjudicated in a court yet.
But you said you believe her.
I'm allowed to have my opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion, believing her.
And your opinion
that doesn't make him guilty.
You are allowed to have your opinion. So let's talk about your opinion. Your opinion is that that you completely believe her, right? You said you're allowed to have this opinion, right? Okay, so let's examine your opinion here. This opinion you have is, well, you completely believe her, and this opinion is informed by what?
by the fact that we could see with our own eyes that Biden is a creep. He can't keep his hands off little girls. But apparently Hank didn't have a problem with that.
And well,
he didn't have a problem with that. When I brought it up about,
but here's what's so interesting about the conversation, which was this is pretty much how this is how it went on Hake as well. And I want to reiterate this great point. How are you any different with this with Tara Reid and the way you see that, and what informs your opinion, and what's the metric for truth here and your opinion here? How are you any different than Jean Carroll and that whole fiasco?
Simple. I can tell you real quick. She had Zippo for evidence. We don't know what Tara Reid has.
Right, exactly. Yet you believe her. Yet your opinion, we don't know. You just said with your own words, you don't know what Tara Reid has, and yet your opinion. I know it's your opinion. That's right. But here you are, a man with an opinion, which you're fair to saying that you completely believe a woman without evidence.
Well, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's not jump the gun. If she doesn't have evidence and I'm proven wrong, I'll stand corrected.
Why not wait till then before having this opinion that you completely believe her?
Because seeing Biden, seeing the way he's a pervert with little girls, and you've seen it, I've seen it, the whole world has seen it. So what are you going to do?
That's enough for you.
Your lying eyes.
So that's enough. That's enough for you.
Well, wait a minute. No, it's not. But I'm not on the jury.
But I'm talking. Okay. Well, we're not talking about you being on the jury. I'm just talking to you, Mark, the individual here with the opinion, a man with an opinion. His opinion is that she's not lying. There's no way she's lying. And your opinion is, we've now found out, is informed not by evidence, not by which you condemn Jean Carroll and everybody saying agree with her. Your opinion is informed by what? It's informed by what you think because of things you saw, like him, touching the shoulder of a kid and all that. And so really what we've concluded here is that your evidence and all that, your standard of evidence and all that when it comes to these topics and all that is really no different than Me Too, the Jean Carroll people.
No.
Well, how is it different?
That's a false equivocation. First of all, I'll repeat it again. Carroll had her day in court. She had a rigged jury, in my opinion. She had a Marxist judge. And basically, in the most important point, she had no evidence.
Right.
There was no evidence.
I heard you on that. Let me repeat this part again.
She had her day in court. No, wait. She had her day in court. Why don't we give Tara Reid her day in court?
Well, okay. I heard you on that. I heard your repeated point on that, and thank you. Look, let me repeat my point, though. Your point centers around that the difference between what you're saying and Jean Carroll's situation is this lack of evidence, right? But don't you see that this lack of evidence exists in your situation just the same as well? You've judged a man. You've judged a man on the basis of no evidence. You're saying, but it's in your situation though. It's different because she didn't get a day in court. But we're not talking about the court. We're talking about the court in Mark's mind that already happened. And in Mark's mind and heart, the court already decided Biden's fate. And the court in Mark's mind already decided this with no evidence. The same as the courts with the evil stuff that happened with Jean Carroll and Trump. So again, tell me, what's the difference between Mark and those people believing Jean Carroll and all that mess?
Really, that's an easy one. That's the easiest question yet. The fact that she had her day in court and she had no evidence. Tara has not had her day in court. Why can't you understand that? She has not had her day in court.
You judged Biden without evidence, like all women, like so many women do to men today. Why don't you get that? What don't you get about that? I'm not talking about Tara Reid's day in court. I'm talking about Mark judging Biden without any evidence. What don't you get about that?
I'll tell you what.
Do you have evidence that Biden did that?
No.
Do you believe that Biden did that?
I do believe it.
And you have no evidence?
No, I'm not on the jury.
Boom.
Though.
So the question remains. Answer me this question, Mark, and I'll answer any question you have after. Again, now after that statement, answer me this. How is it that Mark can judge Biden without judge this male man Biden without evidence? And how is that okay?
Well, first of all, I'm only judging him from a citizen's viewpoint. I do not sit on the jury. And secondly, and most importantly,
that's putting yourself on a position you shouldn't be. You're just as a this is a strange thing you're doing where you're diminishing the responsibility of the citizen in this case. That's not true. As a citizen, you have just as much responsibility as this jury to be truthful, to wait and see. As a Christian, as a man, you have the same responsibility. You have, in fact, the highest responsibility of anyone else as a man and as a Christian to maintain that and say and have a wait and see attitude, to not judge men like the world is judging men and going and teaming up with Me Too and all these evil women, basically. All because why? All because why? Because you have a problem with Biden. Well, don't let your thing with Biden blind you from what's going on here.
I'll say it again. I got to make sure you get this point.
Okay.
As I said previously, if they were to go to court and Biden was acquitted, I would stand corrected, and I would say I was wrong.
But man, it's ignoring what I'm asking you, which her day in court is not the topic here. It's the judgment that already happened within you, the individual, Mark. And I know you've already given me your reasoning for that. Your justification is this diminishing of your responsibility because you're not a jury, you're not in a court. What I'm trying to show you is that you in fact have a higher responsibility as a man, as a Christian, and all these things, to have this level of this standard on yourself where you wouldn't go just fall into any old hate like anybody else just because he's your enemy, Biden. Because what you don't realize that you're doing is you're teaming up with these evil women who say, believe all women. Mark, do you believe all women?
No, and Tara Reid is
What
not
about
an
this
evil
believe
woman.
all women crap? Don't you know how
that.
evil all that is? Well, you're teaming up with that. It is evil. Well, you've teamed up with that.
I hate it.
Well,
I'm
you've teamed
against
up
all
with that.
that.
And that's the point that Hake was making on his show.
Okay, then you can turn it around and say by him not wanting Tara Reid to have Biden prosecuted, that he's defending Biden.
Well, if I remember, Hake didn't really care.
I'm defending woman's lib, then Hake is defending Biden.
Well, to be fair, if I remember correctly, Hake didn't really care too much about whether Tara Reid should have her day in court or not. He had much less to say about that, and it was more about what we're talking about right now. You know, I personally, if you ask me, I don't really care about that Tara Reid stuff. I'm too I've seen too much of this Me Too crap with women to
what if
really
she tell them the truth?
Well, then let the courts do that. That's none of my business. I don't want to team up.
Well, none of your business. Okay, it's none of your business.
No, it's not. What we're talking about. Look. Tara Reid doesn't need you and I defending her to have her day in court. Women already get that. Look, that's the point we're trying to make here, Mark. Women already get that. We're not. They don't need us. They don't need us to defend her for her day in court. We don't need that. Okay, they got plenty of that, and they don't need our help. You, Mark, and all that. I'm just trying to make you see how you teamed up. You judged Biden without evidence. And you think that's okay?
That's for the jury to decide.
No, but I'm talking about you, and you already decided.
I'm talking about me. I think he's guilty. Now I'm not on the jury. That's right.
I hope that doesn't happen to you, man. I hope one day this doesn't come up somehow where someone has accusations about you, and someone just says, well, you know what? I don't know. I heard Mark on some show, and he sounds all angry and stuff, and they judge you, and then, you know what I'm saying here, man? I hope that doesn't happen to you.
No. Let me say this. If you're a conservative woman and you've been raped by a liberal man, the chances of those Me Too creeps and the rest of these feminist hypocrites, they're not going to help Tara Reid because she's a conservative victim. E. Jean Carroll is a liberal crackpot with no evidence, so she wins.
And you're just as mad.
The double standard? Pardon?
And you're no better. You teamed up with them.
No, I didn't. You teamed up with Biden. If you're going to claim that I teamed up with these feminists, then you've teamed up with Biden.
Not true.
And that's
Take it back.
Far worse.
No, not true. Not true. Take it back.
Take what back?
I'm being silly right now. But Mark, man, I really do appreciate the conversation. I don't think you're teaming up with. I don't think you're really doing it actively. I just personally think you don't notice what you're doing there with your language. I don't think you notice who you've teamed up with.
Let me let you go here with this final question.
Sure.
Do you think Biden should be charged with rape in her case. I'm not asking you if he's guilty. I'm asking you if her rape complaint should be heard before a judge and a jury. Yes or no?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just like Hake, he doesn't care because when you pin him down.
No, I don't care because
answer.
look, just like we just saw with Jean Carroll, just hearing a rape case is not. It's going to a court and having a hearing about a rape case is not anymore these days. It's not just simply hearing out the evidence. No, it's as we've seen with Trump. It's oftentimes a witch hunt using lies and using cherry-picked facts to go after a man in a very evil way. So when you tell me, Nick, do you think Tara Reid should at least be heard? It's like, obviously yes, but I have to add that in because we're not hearing a rape case is not just that anymore these days. It's usually a witch hunt. Well, not usually, but it can be oftentimes a witch hunt, especially when there's politics involved and all that. So,
there's a lot of politics involved with Biden, and it was all political with Trump. The only difference is Trump's on the right and Biden's on the communist left.
Right.
And the jurors and the judge are also on the communist left. So they sided with the witch, Carol, over Trump. In the Tara Reid case, she wouldn't have a chance.
Exactly.
She's conservative. Huh?
No, I just like that you're bringing up that it's all politics because that's the point I'm trying to make about you. It's really just politics. It's not about the truth. It's not about it's about you don't like Biden, and so you're willing to team up with Tara Reid and anybody who's bringing up allegations, and you're willing to further and you're willing to be an unwilling pawn. You don't even know. I think, in my opinion, you're not aware, but you're really just furthering the agenda of these feminists and these man haters.
And by you and Hake taking the stand against me, you're defending Biden.
I'm not against you. I'm just trying to point something out.
Well, no, on this issue.
I have no problem with you personally, Mark.
You know not wanting Tara Reid to have her day in court. Okay, you said you did. I had to drag it out of you.
Yeah, you had to drag it out. It wasn't easy, but man.
Okay, so by you, I could say, hey, not wanting to have Tara Reid's day in court, I could say you're defending Biden. And a lot of the people in the comment section agreed with me.
Well, we'll let the tapes.
Of Biden.
We'll let the tapes speak. We'll let the tapes speak for themselves, huh, Mark? I mean, I do appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go to court though, because the commies will get. They're going to let the time of what do you call it, expiration run out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he'll.
The statute of limitations.
Right, that's what this is all about. Don't side with the Bidens.
Again, I'm not even taking a side. I wouldn't side with Biden. It's just a side on. It's just pointing out, which is being missed here, how men are so easily attacked here, and just because just because he's a political enemy doesn't mean you go on taking on the behaviors and ideologies of these feminists.
If you could do me one favor, I'll hang up.
Sure.
But the next time you see Hake, ask him if he thinks Biden should stand trial for the Tara Reid trial.
No, you call him. Call him about that. You call him about that because I already know he doesn't really care. I personally don't either.
That's not an answer. I don't really care. It's a cop-out. That's a cop-out.
That if Biden should stand trial for that?
No, it's a cop-out to say I don't care. That's a cop-out. He's afraid to answer yes or no.
I don't know. That's a different man. You got to go call him about it. But talking with you,
I will.
Talking with you, the more we talk, I gotta say, the more we talk, I think I gotta say, I don't want to see Biden in any court case on this. No, I say Tara Reid gets shoved away deep under a carpet, far away somewhere, and we leave her silly complaints for some other time or some other, I don't know.
Why?
And we stand with Biden and we ride with Biden and we don't let these men get attacked by these silly allegations.
At least you're honest. You're defending Biden and you said it clear. Although you did say originally that you did think she should have a day in court because you said, yeah, I had to drag it out.
Here's what I mean by that. In that I think any person, if you ask any man, any person, they wouldn't say they would. If you would want to see you would wish everybody well. I think most people would want to wish people well, and if they believe they have a case and they got raped and all that, you'd wish justice for their situation, and that's really my extent, and that's how far that goes for Tara Reid. But like I pointed out in this conversation, which will end real soon here. Thanks for the patience, folks. Just for the sake of the show, as we're moving things along here, we've never had a problem with your call, Mark. But look, just to make this point here, one final time, it's not so much. It's that this is no evidence, just like Jean Carroll. This is a
you don't know
old,
that.
This is a
you
old.
Don't know that.
Well, so far, right? Like we said, this is the same old story.
The media is ignoring
men going along with this and going along with accusations and simple accusations and all that. Even if it's Biden, I don't think is it's a slippery slope. It's not a good way of operating.
It sounds to me like never think.
But for you in your mind, it's only either you're with Biden or you're not really seeing this any other way, Mark. But we'll let the tape speak for itself.
That's not true. Anyway, you're a good man. Thank you for taking the call.
I appreciate your call, Mark. Call me again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, yep. Sorry, guys. I spent a lot of time there, but we're getting into it. Folks. I do appreciate your calls. 888-775-3773. I haven't even told you about the title of my stream here, my show. The airlines and their code words. You hear about this? And I'll get to my call here, 888-775-3773. I'll be quick on this one. This will take no time at all. And then I'll get to my call. My call's here. But where are you guys right now in the chat? Where are we? We cool right now? We're chilling. We're still watching the show. I got a little lost there. Everybody cool? All that yapping. Someone give Nick some water. Oh God! Well, thank you, DJ 2020. Appreciate the support over there on Rumble. Oh Lord. But I gotta tell you about this. As your pilot expert, as your resident pilot, real pilot on the show, I gotta give you an update here, an amazing update here out of the FAA. They created secret code words for blacks. Imagine that. You get a code word and you get bumped to the front of the line. What's going on here is an amazing report here. An update on the U.S. airline industry and their diversity, equity, and inclusion. You're aware of this. I'm sure you've heard of it. Plenty. You've heard about this from me. Plenty. You've heard enough about it. The FAA, governing body on the aviation industry here. We're reading this Revolver News report here. And you see this lineup here. You know, I almost just have to comment on this first. You look at this lineup of officials here, this diversity of officials. You see Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation. You got the Karine Jean-Pierre, the Swiftie, and the White House Press Secretary, the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Oh, Tony, so you think I'm black. Kamala Harris. And this friggin' person here, Samuel Brinton. When you look this, you Google this. Look, I open up a tab here. I'll type in Samuel Brinton. And you know what you get here? You get American nuclear. What does it say here? This is amazing. It finishes it for me. It says American nuclear physicist, amazing things. This Samuel Brinton person, I'm sure you heard of in the Biden administration. I mean, you see this amazing lineup of people, and I don't know what to say. Your diversity, folks. It's funny about these people, though. Like, for example, Samuel Brinton, this graduate of Kansas State. I'm sure what's funny about the men in this lineup is they're probably somewhat competent, right? They have somewhat, this guy deals with nuclear waste and stuff. So they probably have some form of competence here, but they got all liberal and sexually weird and stuff. And what you learn is our government, all these positions that they talk about, they really are of no consequence. You could put anyone there. Shows you where the power lies and how things work. It's none of this bloat. It's really a bloated government. All this is inconsequential. These positions are of no consequence. And there's probably a thin veneer of people in some of these departments who are keeping the lights on, as they say, keeping the waste, the nuclear waste where it should be, for example. But you just need a little percentage of that to be changed, and you start seeing things fall apart. But really, these people are in positions of no consequence, as you can see. The problem is they have inner problems. And those inner problems sometimes go outside and on the news. And we're seeing that. You know, they're trying to impeach Mayorkas here. The Department of Homeland Security. The House has apparently approved some resolution here or whatever to impeach Mayorkas. They're really doing it, folks. The GOP, the Republicans, they're making it happen. Alejandro Mayorkas, your days are numbered. MAGA will win. But, you know, it's just like the seven-headed Hydra crap. It really goes up to Biden, and it's like the Republicans getting rid of McCarthy. Johnson seems like more of the same. What you need is this radical shift, a revolution of sorts. But hey, I'm not saying that. I don't know what I'm talking about. This radical shift that goes all the way to the top. They're fighting over Shelby Park. They're fighting over these little pockets of land, and it's really all too little, too late. So we'll see what happens with that as they try and impeach Mayorkas. But I'm almost tired of that already. And I want to move on. FAA code. They're giving them code words. I didn't even tell you what the code word was and what I'm even talking about there. I'm moving a little too fast trying to get past this story here. But what's going on is the real crazy update here. It's truly amazing. The FAA gave a secret code words to students in the Black Caucus of federal aviation employees to put in their resume that would skip them to the front of the line. In another instance of the signals to go to the front of the line was to say the high school class you received your lowest grades in was science. That's the code word. You say that's your lowest grade, you get bumped to the front of the. You get literally shot to the front of the line if you said your worst grades were in science. These are reports coming out of Twitter here. These journalists with screenshots of supposed communications between these students and the Black Caucus of federal aviation employees. It's amazing. Truly amazing. What you're seeing here is some of that. You're seeing here is some of that communication, some of these screenshots. Hold up. Elon Musk getting in on the conversation there. Saying, is this true? Is this really true? WSC brothers and sisters, it has been confirmed there will not be a selection panel for the open bid on February 10th. Don't know what that is. Instead, FAA Human Resources will scan resumes and the computer will group resumes based on keywords, aka buzzwords. These buzzwords will flag your resume, thereby giving you the advantage over thousands of resumes that may flood the system. A list of these buzzwords are attached to this email. This list is being provided to you through one of our members in HR. I encourage you to keep a lid of this attachment and focus on your resume. If the entire country caught wind of this attachment, this makes me almost think this is fake. If the entire country caught wind of this attachment, then how will your resume be distinguished from the others? You got to keep it. You got to keep a lid on it. After editing your resume using the attached file, resend me your resume for view. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, folks. People are reporting on this, though. FAA code word. The FAA has code words. The code words, we'll see if this is all true. BizPack review. We're seeing some reports here on some other publications. Revolver.news. I mean, it's really believable, though. I really don't think it's that far-fetched. It's just that line about if the whole country caught wind, well, we can't let the whole country. It just seems like strange language. But they got code words. They got code words. Sounds like someone Blatt and Slow wrote that. That's also quite believable. But what I want to know is if they had their day in court, though. That's what. Alex out of Tennessee, I appreciate your call. First time caller on my show. Alex, you're on the air.
Yes. Hello?
Hey, Alex, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
All is well, no complaints.
Nice. Hey, man, I really appreciate all the things you guys are doing. It's really, I started listening to Jesse probably about 2.5 years ago or so, and it's just totally transformed my life in a lot of ways, and a lot of good ways. And
nice.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Right on, sir.
So, well, a couple of things I was thinking about, or kind of occurred to me during just listening to you. Was it Mark you were talking to for a long time? You know, that's a really good example of not choosing sides. Why it's important not to take a side.
Dang. Yep.
You know, because you get caught up in trying to defend your side at all costs, and you start to lose your connection with what's right.
Well said, man.
Does that make sense?
100%. That's so evil to take sides and to the point of where you will throw your own people, right? You see what I'm saying? Like you'll go so far as to team up with an enemy and not even know it.
Right, exactly. And that's why the order of God matters so much. And that leads me to my other kind of thing that occurred to me. This happened a while ago. It's funny that all this stuff started kind of occurring to me ever since I, started listening to Jesse, and I was like, oh man, all this stuff started to make sense to me. And in a lot of ways, it was kind of coming out of nowhere. And I would just like start writing things down. And the order of God, where it's you seek God and you love what's right, and everything else happens as a consequence of that correctly. And so you can't be pulled into things that can be divided. So this idea of like the order of God and how, and this it makes sense mathematically too, where the order starts with 0, with nothing, and then 0 becomes 1, and that's like God causing being to become. So now, as being has become, this reminds me too of a caller that talked to Jesse earlier today. I think it was Martin, who was talking about why does the devil exist? Does God make mistakes? Yeah. And this kind of addresses that to some extent, because once you have something that is in existence, now you have something that can be divided, and so it can be subdivided. And it's interesting that man, which is the representative of Christ, man is divided to make woman. A piece of him is taken out to make a woman, and it's interesting that the devil goes after the subdivision of man, because it's the thing that's furthest away from God. It's the thing that God has made that's closest to Him, in the sense that it is very valuable to God, but it's also further away from God than Adam.
To be divided.
So yeah, because it's a subdivision of man. And so it's easier prey. And it's really interesting.
And this division, can you describe this division?
Yeah, so this is kind of the idea of it. So 0 to 1 is God, the unknown, unnamed, omnipotent nothingness, to creation, which is man or somethingness, the Son of God. And then one divides in two. So man is whole and walks with God, and then he's subdivided, making woman. And divided, though, see, this goes back to why marriage is kind of like an important
that's why one is
representation.
greater than two.
Yeah, that's why, because it makes you whole. You know, I mean, it completes the whole again. And that's one of the reasons. And so it imitates God. So life is an imitation of God. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But so divided, when they reunite as one, they beget more than their number. So polarity and dichotomy become realized when the connection to God is distanced. And so when something can be divided, it can be infinitely divided. And so two becomes three. So when a man and woman come together, you end up with children or any other form of life, which is unexplained to this point, just like the universe and our existence is unexplained to this point as well. So that's life. And man and woman merge to create a third. Woman is above children in this order. So 1 + 1 = 3. So how does that work? That's life or procreation, which is why we are in the image of God. So we are imitating God and creation in the process of life. And so if you think about 3, too, the 3 has that interesting number because it's a true third. It's an infinite number. It's 3.33333, and it goes on and on and on. And so there's an infinity of possibilities once you get to 3.
Dang, so one really is more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Say it again?
The number 1 is more than any other, than 2, 3, 4, every number after it.
Right, because it represents something whole.
I mean, I'm following the picture you're painting here abstractly and all that. So how would you become undivided? Let's say you're telling someone the orders here about numbers, and then they wonder, well, okay, I don't want to be, I want to be one. How do I do it?
Well, I mean, that's basically what Christ told us how to do it. That's what the Bible is all about, is how to restore that connection. Because, you know, in order for something, and it's interesting too that in the Garden of Eden, the thing that caused a lot of the calamity was the eating of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And this is really important because now when you can judge something as good or evil, you can say Biden's evil, Trump's good, or whatever, vice versa, whatever you're into. Now you're playing God. And so now you've decided that you can judge things. And you're not because you're not whole, you're not one with the Father, you're not one with God, so you're not a whole thing. You're already divided.
Has this helped you stop judging?
This politics and all this mess is about. It's about judging. It's about continuing the division.
Has this helped you stop? Has this helped you to stop judging and being divided?
Totally. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Really, it's amazing because it makes it so easy to see it. You know, and if you can see it, then you don't have to be it. You know. Does that make
Interesting.
sense?
Well, right on, sir. I didn't expect that when you were saying order of God. That's probably not how I thought of it. I mean, you did go back. You did mention man over woman, all that. But yeah. Orders like numbers. Fascinating.
It's really logical.
Are you in like a heady industry or something, or in school or something?
No, I'm in the music business.
You're a numerologist. You're a big. Well, you're a vibration. You're a what are those vibrations? What are those vibrations that makes things float and create patterns?
Oh, he's talking about like like a Fibonacci kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? It makes the sand. It makes patterns in the sand.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned patterns because that's what it,
no. Okay. You can say what you want to say. I'm just messing with you.
No, but that's what it is. It's like you see patterns in things, and it's easy.
Pattern noticer.
Yeah. Easy to see patterns. Go ahead.
Right on, Alex. Fascinating stuff, man. Any last thing you want to say before we move the wheels?
No, not at all, man. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. It's amazing.
No problem, Alex. Call me again.
All right, wish you well.
Right on. I don't know how y'all describe how you got to describe things. I don't know how y'all do it. But yeah, the point is to not be divided, right? I got Frederick on the air. Appreciate it. Los Angeles. How you doing, sir?
How's it going, Nick? Good afternoon.
No
Thanks
complaints.
for taking my call.
Yeah, no problem, man. Nice to, all is well.
All right. I don't get why people think it's like one way to God.
Okay.
Do you believe it's only one way through God, and that's through Jesus?
Yeah. What other way is there?
You can get to God.
How can I can't think of a single other reason, a single other way.
Well, Muslims get to God, right?
Wait, how?
I mean, they have a God that they pray to that don't involve Jesus.
Yeah, but how do they get to him or whatever?
Through their religion.
That's how they do it?
How many different
That's not how you get to
there?
God. That's strange.
Yeah,
that's not how a Christian. That's not how a Christian.
A religion.
That's not how a Christian gets to God.
You just said Jesus is how a Christian gets to God, right?
Wait, what?
Did you not just say Jesus is the way to get to God? That's how Christians get to God?
I can't think of another way.
That, right?
I can't think of another way.
Well, I'm saying...
And you're saying it's the Muslims, they do it through their religion. So you're saying another way, because you're saying there's multiple ways. One way you've mentioned is through religion. And I don't think that's how you get to God.
Well, you don't believe Jesus is a religion?
Oh, no, that's not how I'm seeing
they made
it. That's not how I'm thinking of it.
out of Jesus. Christianity is...
No, that's not how I'm thinking of it.
What are you thinking
I'm thinking it's different. It's like what Jesus said. It was more like what he said. It was about what'd you say?
Sounds like you're trying not to pick sides, but go ahead.
No, I think it's more like what he said, that you won't get to the Father unless you go through me, and the only way to get it to the kingdom is, well, what's the fulfillment of the law? To love all people, to love God, only God, above everything else, and love everybody the same way you love Him, right? Right. That forgiveness, that's the way. So when I'm thinking of through Jesus, that's what I'm thinking of.
All right. You know how the sun is let's say you have a pie, right? In the center of the pie will be God, and that's the center of the universe. So you're saying only one slice, and that whole one slice of pizza is Jesus, and that's the way to get to God. But
no, you're missing it. No, that's not how the pie looks. Because you think in the center the pie is the center is God, and then there's one slice, there's Jesus. There's another slice, and that's like, I don't know, Islam. There's another slice. No. You're missing it. You're missing it. No. The pie is God is in the center, and all the way around is Jesus.
No, no. Because he said then it would be a divided pizza. But he's saying don't be divided. But the pie is divided because there's plenty different avenues to get to God.
Right, because
you can't say somebody. Listen.
I'm listening. My bad. I noticed I was about to talk over you. My bad. You were saying?
Yeah, somebody that's living in God's spirit that's already found God. You can't say, well, you came to God this way. You know what I'm saying? They truth of their experiences of how they got to God and what side of the crust they started from to get to the center. And their truth is going to be like, okay, I didn't come through this way. There's people that believe in God all around with different religions. But the more closer you get to the center, you get to the more religious or the more godly people of that religion at the top of the pyramid. So, okay, the pyramid goes from your religion of the slice of the pyramid to the center would be, the pinnacle would be God. So if you're just going to deny somebody else's route or how they got to God and only see you're being divided yourself instead of being whole if God is everything. So you're saying then, only my way is the truth, and the other 12 slices of this pizza.
Well, it's not. No, it's not my way. That's not. That's. I think that's where the. I think that's where the disconnect. I think that's where the disconnect is. So to maybe shed some light on the conversation, maybe we should find it. Maybe we should figure out. Well, how do you see when you say going through Jesus to get to God? How do you see that? What does that mean to you? Going through Jesus to get to God.
When I ask you that question, is like when a lot of people put Christianity to get to God, like that's the only way, and argue with people and start wars with people because they disagree instead of letting them have their path to get to God their way. They're over here standing on top of an onion or mushroom, arguing, preaching to the people lost in the sauce that ain't trying to work their way in the middle. They don't even know what the middle is. They just got their little mushroom or black olive they standing up on talking about this is how you do it. But everybody's wandering in the sauce and don't know which way's the middle. I'm already in the middle and I'm watching y'all wander around and I'm like, hey, this way. And they're like, oh man, nah. We in the sauce, man, we loving it.
So what makes so what makes it any different? Because you're saying they got their own. They're on their little mushroom, and they got their own little.
Because
truth. What's difference? What's the difference? Well, let me say my question first. What's the difference between you and them? How are you? How are you also not on a little mushroom and just saying things that are not exactly God? Or are you here to tell us that you are truly saying God's thing or whatever, God's message?
No, I'm in the center, and I'm accepting. I'm turning slice to slice, understanding, accepting their God and how they are at peace and how they came to God.
What's the difference between you and these other people, though?
That's what I'm saying. The other people are saying, no, you're wrong. I'm saying, hey, you made it to the middle. Nice to meet you. How did you get here? What was your path like?
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
And how do you know that? And how do you know
God?
That's interesting. And so how do you know that person? If you're confused, folks, he's saying the middle. He's saying if you made it to the middle, if you're following this very colorful visual conversation, he's talking about the kingdom of God or God or knowing God. That's what the middle is. So Frederick, how do you know? How do you know when you're talking to someone? How do you know that? When you're talking to someone, how do you know that about them? That they've arrived, that they know God, and all these things you're saying.
The brain can never comprehend what itself that made it.
But how do you know that they're with you? Because you're saying, oh, you've made it. You're here with me, and you got here through Islam or whatever other way you did it, but you got here with me. How do you know when you're there, and how do you know that that you have someone there with you?
Because they don't argue, they let you believe what you want to believe because you are content and concerned. You don't have any argument. Let me explain to you. You be like, you won't have them horns that come up when somebody mentions reparations or white people or the decline of white people. You know what I'm saying? There's things that you're going to talk about that say, okay, I can see what's happening.
But reparations people aren't that
we talk about.
You're saying if you truly knew God, then you wouldn't go around getting concerned about other people and the words they're using and all that thing you're saying, right? Which is true. That's an interesting statement you made. But then you go around, then you turn around and say something that an ungodly person who does care about things would say would use a word like reparations. Only someone who is in the world wait, hold on, let me finish. Only someone who's in the world in the way that you described in an ungodly way would use a word like that, reparations, because it's funny that you say that. It's true. You would be unconcerned and all that about others and their religion. But the only way but the thing is that you go around calling yourself Muslim, or you go around calling yourself even for example, follower of Christ, for example, people who even use that.
That's how you know.
Those people can't be the person you described that's going around not caring and unconcerned about what people call themselves, because they're too busy calling themselves something. So just to answer, hold on. Just to answer just to answer this picture you drew with the pie and the slices of the pie.
Okay, go ahead.
You remain divided. You remain divided by calling yourself one of those things.
As long as people tell you you who they are, you know how to attack them. If holy water is my words that can trigger you, and I'm throwing holy water on you and acid pop off your face, I know you're not God's people. You're not in the middle. If you get
Here's how you know you're in the middle.
These words are holy water to you.
You know why why someone in the middle doesn't go around concerned about what people call themselves? Because they don't judge. And someone who doesn't judge is someone who doesn't have anger. Boom. Bringing it back to Christianity, bringing it back to forgiveness, bringing it back to, I don't know. I'm just messing around here a little bit. But what do you think about that? There's more than one path to God. So far, the only one that makes sense is for true forgiveness and repentance. And it sounds like you're saying there's another way. What other way is there? You called it religion. You called it Islam. Do you have any other before we move on here?
There's a bunch of different Catholics, any religion, Hinduism, all of that is in the center. If they find,
do they say you should? Sorry,
makes them,
I'm talking over you.
What makes them morally okay with their conscience and their hearts lighter than a feather, that they think that they did good on earth and morally that they living right
because they said it.
How they got to this Zen point, they gonna be at peace when they die, and that's all that matters is when you die and what your conscience feel of what you made of your life. If you feel like you did wrong,
but those people aren't in peace. That's the point.
They're not.
No,
how are you the judge? How you
those
know
people
what
aren't in peace. Those people are full of peace. They're busy being religious because they're busy being religious.
No, you're self-hating.
Because they're busy being. If you're busy being religious or anything, you're not peaceful. So go enjoy your little middle with all your enlightened peoples of the international world that you're going international, right? You're going international, and you're uniting all the paths. You're uniting the multiple paths to God. So you go ahead and do that and unite with, I don't know what God you're worshiping. But
Alexander the Great did the same thing. He manipulated a whole bunch of different countries by saying, "You're right." He stood in the middle of the pizza, agreed to all these different lands, and they called him a conqueror and a great man. He didn't have no different religion when he went into them lands. So, all right, Nick, you have a great day. Everybody love everybody. That's the basic of the story.
True.
Quit dividing yourself with thinking there's only one way to God, and let people be their own people.
Being a king requires a certain subset of skills, and it includes mass appeal. Appreciate your call, Frederick. Say again.
Right,
say that again.
Not a problem.
I missed what you said, man.
I said, what's a king to a pharaoh?
Ooh, got him right on, Frederick. Always a pleasure. Call me again, sir.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I really didn't mean to do that in the middle of his thing there. He was just saying bye. Okay, folks. Wow, we already got here to 2:00. Fantastic. Alexander was great. Wait, hold up. I do appreciate the support. Let me just check real quick. Let me see. Super chats. What's going on here? Before we say goodbye. Say goodbye. Before we say bid adieu. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Join me tomorrow for more American Anchor, baby. We got a nice Thursday show for tomorrow, right? Today's Wednesday. Thursday, Bible Thumper Thursday. Don't miss it on Jesse Lee Peterson. That's 6 a.m. The Hake Report. Joel Friday. Amazing shows in American Anchor, baby, at noon. That's it from me, folks. And I do appreciate it. Folks, how many buys? It's so hard. It's so hard to say bye to you guys. All right, y'all. Call me tomorrow. Watch me tomorrow. That's it for me. Bye. Lil Nick too. Bye.